Yep, how's it going, guys? Feedaboi back at it again, and today we are going to be doing our season 13 Kled matchup tier list for top lane. I haven't actually done one of these in a while, and then a lot of people have been requesting type of video, so yeah, let's get right to it. So I have 5 tiers here. Got the unplayable tier, the bad matchups tier, the even skill matchup tier, the Kled favor tier, and then the pretty much free matchups tier. So first off, let's just get straight into the unplayable ones. I feel like most people already know most of these, right? With the Fiora, Jax, Camille's, and I put Vayne up there because I did this champion is just too cringe, man. But yeah, Fiora, I mean, everyone knows she does a billion true damage, and she has her parry as well that just negates you from ever being able to actually engage onto her. She just honestly wins at like almost every like stage of the game. The only window I can sometimes kill Fioras is like level 3, 4, 5. If the Fiora does like randomly waste her parry because it is a long CD early, right? But yeah, if the Fiora just plays smart and doesn't actually randomly run it down with her decision making, it's pretty hard for her to ever die to a Kled. So yeah, and then she just turbo scales, and then you just literally can't play the game. And the worst part about this matchup too is even if you get a lead on her, as soon as she gets her first item, she just starts to become Fiora. Where it's like, even if you're up an item, it doesn't even matter. She'll just go Divine Sunder and just start melting you. Even if she goes Gorge Ranker, it's the same thing, but yeah, that matchup is just not very playable. And then we got the Jax, the new Jax, where Riot's like, you know what? Let's just randomly buff this champion and give him a 300 burst ultimate ability. On top of the resist that he already gets. And the champion was already like in a good state. So yeah, this champion is something for sure. And obviously he builds Bork and Divine as well, which are both items that just make you useless on Kled. So, and then his Counter Strike, it's just like, man, if you see this champion, it's just not gonna be a fun time. The only way you ever kill Jax is obviously if he randomly just like uses his Counter Strike and you have your full combo up early on. But yeah, it's kind of like Fiora, where it's like if they just don't randomly just grief, it's very hard to actually punish him early, and then he just becomes Thanos against you in the 1v1. Moving on to Camille, it's definitely still a really bad matchup as well. I do feel like there is some like kill threat against Camille's, because a lot of Camille players will just randomly waste their passive shields early on, so you can potentially kill them like pre-6 or yeah, trolling. But overall it's kind of like the same with Fiora and Jax, where once Camille gets her Divine, starts getting items, it's like you're just not playing the game as Kled. Where you just get hit for like 700 true damage per Q, and she's healing as well, like 400 health. So yeah, that champion is just not very fun to play against. And then Vayne top, I mean, it's range top on top of her doing true damage, on top of her having a condemn that literally just negates you from ever engaging onto her. And she can just zone you off the wave level 1 if, you know, she's got a brain. And yeah, this matchup just, unless your jungler is playing topside early, you're just never going to be able to play the game against it. Unless like the Vayne is just very, very terrible and will give you like easy EQ angles while her condemn is down. But yeah, this matchup's the same, where it's like not even good for you early, and then she just starts getting items like Bork and will just melt you like it's nothing. So yeah, all 4 of those matchups just aren't very fun to play against. I try to like list them in order where it would from like best to worst for at least the top tier. Like these other tiers I kind of did a bit, but it's like not really at the same time. But yeah, I definitely think, I mean, Fiora Jax can be interchangeable depending on your preference, but I definitely think they're the 2 worst, and then yeah, Camille and but yeah, that's it for the unplayable tier. And now we're moving on to the bad lanes tier, which we got GP, Cassante, Darius, Akshan, Jace, Irelia, Garen. I have Nico here when it's the on hit like AD Nico variation. That is just not very playable to play into at all. And then we got Kennen, Lucian top, Quinn, Brindamir, Olaf, Poppy, and Udyr. So for the most part with this tier, it's like if they do like randomly like trade with you and like make dumb decisions, you can punish these champions early on, and like they're not as snowbally. I mean, I guess GP he's pretty bad for that. Where like if he gets gold, he's just gonna 1v9 the game. Kind of the same with Jace, but like with these champions, like there is still at least some kill threat, where it's like, although it's definitely not favored for you, you can definitely still like look to punish them if they are just playing like really dumb. So yeah, and the reason why I don't have Cassante in Unplayable is, I mean, he is pretty broken right now for sure, and the matchup definitely isn't like fun, especially once he gets his Iceborne. If you don't have a kill on him, like you just can't play. But I'm pretty sure Riot's supposed to be nerfing Cassante again. I don't know how much they're nerfing him, but recently I haven't actually been struggling as much with it in lane. Obviously out of lane the champion's just disgusting, but yeah, they're supposed to be nerfing him again soon, so I think the matchup will slowly get a little bit better. I still don't think it's going to be great. I still think it'll be Cassante favored because he does so much like max HP damage in his kit, but yeah. And then GP, I mean, with GP it's kind of hard to say because like when I'm playing in higher elos, this matchup is literally unplayable. Like say when I'm playing at Solar Baka, for example, like I literally just can never play the game because this champion just has insane harass and stuff. But I guess in lower elo brackets it might not be as bad for some players because a lot of the GPs just aren't going to be as like smart with their laning, and they'll just like randomly allow you to like just last hit, and they won't know how to like actually like abuse barrel combos and stuff like that. So I guess the GP, it can be interchangeable. Like I think in lower elos maybe it's more of like an even matchup, or maybe even Kled favors depending on the player, but champion just scales way too well, and I just despise that champion, so that's why I have him as like one of the worst ones for me, like in the bad lanes. Then obviously there's Garen Darius because both of them have executes, and obviously executes just cut Kled because when you're dismounted, it makes it so you can't really remount. So yeah. And then with Akshan, Nico, Lucian, Quinn, Kennen, they're all just range champions that can just face you and cut you out, and as long as they're not trolling, it's pretty hard to ever like fully commit onto them early. And they'll just zone you off XP and CS if they are playing it correctly. So those matchups just aren't very enjoyable. And there's the funny Irelia champion that just has Bork as an item, and then you don't get to play the game. Even early on in lane though, like level 1, you gotta respect her because obviously if she Q starts, like she can just beat your ass. But yeah, Irelia, once she gets Bork, she'll just melt you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, she does that to like almost every champion, but obviously Kled specifically too. Bork just shits on you, and yeah, it's a core item for her, so matchup is not very fun. And then we got Olaf Tryndamere, where they both just stat check you, and obviously Tryndamere with his ult, it's very hard to even like do anything against him post 6. And then Olaf, it used to actually, like, in my opinion, this matchup used to actually be pretty free, but ever since his rework a while back, like what was it, during season 12, I've really been struggling with this matchup. I know some people have been having success with it, but I swear this matchup isn't very good anymore because he just gets the 30% pen on his Q for free, and then on top of that, like he just pops ult and can literally just one-shot you when you dismount. It's like almost impossible to remount unless he whiffs a Q, so not very fun. And then there's Poppy Udyr. They both just can stat check you early, and they're beefy as fuck. It's very hard to ever kill. So yeah. For the bad lanes, in my opinion. Now we're moving on to the even skill matchups. I'm not really gonna go over like all these matchups. I'll go over like a couple on why I put them in here, but most of these matchups, it's like it can go either way. Just depends on the players and their skill level and if they know the matchup and stuff. But for the most part, most of these champions, yeah, are annoying, but you can definitely win lane against them if you play it correctly. But it can definitely go the other way around. I feel like a lot of these lanes too, it's like whoever gets the first kill will just take over the lane. I feel like that's with most Kled matchups, but especially like these ones, like say like Aatrox or Riven, for example. If you can get an early kill on them, you will just completely like roll them in the 1v1. But say they got an early kill, then you just can't play the game. So that's why I have them as like skill matchups, because it's like if you know the matchup better than your enemy later, you can just take over and snowball out of control. But yeah, at the same time, it's like if you mess up, then yeah, you're not gonna have a fun time. But yeah, we got like Aatrox, Set, Riven, Renekton, Gnar. There's more like the standard top laners, and then I also put in stuff like Zaktop, Sejuani, Diego. But like all these matchups, it's like you don't really see them too often. But I mean, if they do come in, it's like yeah, as long as you know what you're doing, it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that tier. I can't really go like too much more in depth other than like actually like talking champion specific. But obviously I'm not gonna do it because there's like probably like 30 champions in this list. But yeah, it just comes down to whoever knows the matchup more will probably just take over in that. Now we're gonna move on to the Kled favorite tier, which is champions like Akali, Nasus, Alawi, Arthas, Hale, Singed, Dwayne, York, Vladimir, and Sion. I actually was debating on putting Sion in easy / free or Kled favored, but Sion has got buffed a couple times, so he is actually a little bit like harder to actually like kill in lane now. It's the buffs, so I'm just gonna put him in the Kled favored. But most of these champions, it's like they're pretty like weak in the early stages, for like damage output, and it's like as long as you're playing smart and just learning your abilities and chunking them out slowly, you can usually just dive these champions around like levels 3, 4, 5 if you're playing it correctly. The only champion I sometimes have trouble with on this list is Akali, top lane, but for the most part, it's like as long as you're not like randomly getting like chunked out level 1, 2 when you don't have your full combo yet, it's usually not too bad because obviously you have your true side and your E and Q, so you can just see her in her shroud as long as you land your combo, and she's pretty squishy early on, so it just comes down to not getting chunked too hard in the first 3 levels in that lane. And then stuff like Nasus, you gotta make sure you're actually like punishing him early and like denying him stacks, because obviously if you don't deny him stacks early on in the game, as soon as he starts getting his items, he'll just start to melt you. But obviously his early game power is pretty weak, so those type of matchups you can just walk up and try to just zone him off waves. Same with like Singed. I mean, actually, well, Singed you can't really even like zone off waves, but you're not really interacting with Singed. If Singed ever does try to fight you, as long as you land your EQ, like the Singed will just get melted. So a lot of these are just like more like farming matchups where like if they do try to commit in the fight, you'll just beat them 1v1 pretty easily. So yeah, and then stuff like Alawi, as long as you don't get hit by Alawi, the matchup's pretty free in my opinion early on. Like obviously if you don't kill it, like get a solo on her and the lane just going like evenly, she will eventually outscale you. But I feel like early on it's like, yeah, as long as you're not getting hit by her E and you're actually landing your combo and stuff, usually not too bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these matchups. As long as you just play smart, you should be able to take over against these champions and then just snowball on the rest of the map. And then we'll go into the last tier, which is the easy free tier, which is basically just tanks that literally just don't have damage. Like they can't burst too early. I have heard recently that some people have been struggling a bit more than they used to against like Maokai. I haven't actually played against a Maokai this season yet, so I'm not too sure because I know he did get buffed a while ago, but I at least in the past, like I just remember this champion doing 0 damage, and it's like if he ever try to like W onto me, I'll literally just beat his ass, and if he tries to just like use it to dismount me, it's like okay, I'm just remounting and killing you. The same kind of goes for like Skarner, where literally Skarner's only way of killing you is cheesing you level 6 with his ult under turret. So it's like as long as you don't randomly get pulled by him and like die the turret, he can never actually like fight you, and then you just get like huge CS leads because you can just freeze on them and then just perma like just engage if they try to walk up. And then Mundo, as long as you're not getting chunked by his like Qs for no reason, it's pretty free. And Cho'Gath's kind of the same, where it's like as long as you're not getting like hit by his like Qs randomly all the time, you're just slowly like chunking him out, you'll just beat him. But yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly, for like matchups and stuff. I didn't want to go like too long in length for this type of video because it's kind of hard to talk about each champion without going on like like 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, like 2-3 minute rant on each one, and this would literally be like an hour-and-a-half video, so I wanted to make it a little bit shorter. But I'm thinking in the future I'm gonna start doing some more like educational, like kind of like matchup guide things for like some of like the more popular matchups, especially like these like harder matchups, because a lot of people have been asking me for them. So hopefully in the future that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm not sure yet what the style of video will be, if it's just gonna be me like playing the game, or maybe I'll do like a VOD review of one of my games in the matchup, and I'll like talk over like my thought process and stuff during that. So I'm not too sure yet exactly what it's going to be, but I am planning on doing some more educational stuff very, very soon. So definitely stay tuned for that, guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me for this video. Let me know down below if you guys agree or disagree with this list, and if you guys have like specific matchups in other tiers. And I'm definitely down to you know, interact with you guys and see your thoughts on that. Either way, though, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next gameplay. Yeah, see you guys. Have a good one.